Welcome to Marketing Game Changer Secrets, where you will learn from one of the top leaders in the network marketing industry. Teresa Harding has grown her team to over millions of people. She's grown online, she's grown offline, she's grown organically, and she is ready to show you the secrets. She's ready to change the way you think. She truly cares about the success of her team and the people that she teaches. So get ready to learn the tips, tricks, and secrets that will allow you to grow a successful business in the 21st century.
I'm Teresa Harding, and this is Marketing Game Changer Secrets. This podcast is for people who know that this industry is not about the network marketer anymore. It's about the people we serve and the change we can make in other people's lives. It's about the entrepreneur inside each of us who is trying to find our voice. It's for the people who want to change the world and are looking for the most powerful way to make that happen. Hey you guys, welcome back. Excited to have you join our podcast today. Today we're going to be talking about habits and how to form good habits. We're calling this one 30 Days can totally change your life. And I want to talk a little bit about that because people arbitrarily throw out, the number 30 days. You've probably heard, it takes 21 days to change a habit, that kind of thing. So I want to kind of talk about that a little bit. We're going to talk about habits and how long does it really take to form a new habit. And then I want to talk about 3 specific habits that you can do that will change your life in 30 days. So first of all, let's talk about how long does it really take to change habits. Well, really, it's backed by science. And there's actually a scientist whose name was Maxwell Maltz, M-A-L-T-Z, and he did some amazing research on this, and he discovered that it takes a minimum of 21 days to form a new habit. And so what happens is, it's like the telephone game. Over time, little by little, one person tells the next person, one person shares it in their training, and little by little it spreads. So now people say it takes 21 days to form a new habit. Or some people say, up to like 30 days. 30 days should be enough because if it's about 21, then 30 days should be enough. But what you need to understand is that actually it's the minimum. So the 21 days is the minimum. And the truth is that the science behind what Maltz did, it affected Zig Ziglar, some of your biggest presenters, the people who are amazing at this game, Brian Tracy, Tony Robbins. They mention him. They talk about his scientific research. And so they have spread that information. But as the information has changed through the retelling, all of a sudden people tell different stories. So the problem is that Maxwell Maltz was simply observing what was going on around him, and he wasn't making a statement of fact. He was actually he was making sure that he said this is the minimum, and he was really kind of the first one that people acknowledged as having said something like that. So what's the real answer? How long does it really take to form a habit? Well, scientists and psychologists in latter years have been studying this topic, and they've been trying to figure out. There was actually a study done of 96 people, and it was over a 12-week period. Each person chose one new habit for the 12 weeks, and they reported each day on whether or not they did the behavior and how automatic that behavior was. And some of the habits were really simple, like drinking a glass of water with lunch, for example. Other people had way more difficult tasks, like running for 15 minutes right before dinner or that kind of thing. And at the end of the 12 weeks, the researchers analyzed everything that they found, all the information, and they were trying to determine how long does it take each person to go from starting a new behavior to automatically doing it. Okay, so let me tell you what the deal is. What happens is, once you've done something regularly for 30 days, all of a sudden it becomes easier. It's no more a huge effort. When you decide you're going to start exercising, all of a sudden what happens is you get up, you might be super excited the first day, the second day, you kind of are doing it 3 days in a row, and then the 4th day you stayed up late and you sleep in, so you don't do it. The next day you think, well, I already missed yesterday, it's not that big of a deal if I miss this day, and it's really easy to get off track because sometimes it feels like almost superhuman effort to actually do the thing you committed to yourself that you were going to do, because it's hard. If it was easy, everybody would do it. If it was easy to be successful, everybody would be successful. It's not easy, but you can actually make it easy. So what you want to do is you want to create habits that now become so normal and automatic that it is easy. because you don't have to think about it. Is it hard to breathe? No. For most people, no. Not unless you're on a breathing machine or you have some health challenge that you're dealing with. Is it hard to eat every meal? Most of you are saying, no, that's easy, I don't have a problem. Some of you out there are thinking, well, actually, for me, because of this situation, yes, it is actually hard to remember to eat, at every meal or whatever. So it actually is about making it easy for yourself. And in the first 30 days, it becomes easy. It's not necessarily automatic yet. And let me continue with this research. So we're going to talk some more about this, but actually based on this research, what they found is that for it to become automatic, not just easy, but moving on to automatic, it actually takes 66 days to be exact. So 66 days, but what I want you to remember is it doesn't take 66 days and now it's easy. Like you have to work crazy hard for 66 days. It's usually the first week is really hard, the second week is often a little bit easier, the third week is easier, and then by the end of, after between 21 and 30 days, all of a sudden it's easy. It's normal, it's natural, you're used to it, you get up, you have a routine, because you've begun to form a habit. So you have now it depends on how you define habit, because habit, if you're defining it as something that you have made it easier and it's normal, it's natural, you're used to it, that's the 21 to 30 days. If you define habit as 30 to 60 days, if you define habit as automatic, you don't even have to think about it, it's like breathing, then that's 30 to 66 days. Okay, that's where that starts to form. But don't be thinking that it's so hard that whole time. It's only the first few weeks, you guys. So remember that. So before you let this make you feel like, oh my goodness, it's longer than I thought, it takes more than 30 days. First of all, there's no reason to get down on yourself because you're having a hard time. And the other thing that the research showed is that if you miss a day here and there, it didn't affect the outcome. It still created that automatic within the 66 days. It still got easier. But I almost hesitated to tell you that because I don't want people to start thinking, oh, see, I can miss days and it doesn't matter. Because then it becomes really easy to miss days and go, yeah, it doesn't matter if I miss a day. Treat it like you are not going to miss a day. But then, if you're going to try to drink more water every day, and define it very clearly. Make sure it's very clearly defined. Don't just say I'm going to drink more water every day. Say, I am going to drink X number of ounces before each meal or before lunch every day. Or I am going to do 10 push-ups before I go to bed at night. Whatever it is, be very, very clear. I would even say where you're going to do it and at what time you're going to do it. All of those details, because it makes it way easier to actually do it. So just realize as you're trying to form a habit, you guys, 3 weeks. Anybody can do something for 3 weeks. That is not that hard. Yes, in the moment, it is crazy hard. But it's like in Jeff Olson's book, The Slight Edge, he talks about how there are all these things that create successful people, that the successful people do. They're really easy to do. Nobody did one great big thing and we went, whoa, they did this crazy amazing thing. It's the little things that are really easy to do that anybody could do, but they're easy not to do. So a lot of people don't do them. And that's what makes the difference. So whatever it is, whatever skills you're trying to create the habit for your success in your business, you need to make sure that you have the habits that are going to create the success that you really want. So look at your habits, look at the skill that you need to up level, and make sure you're doing that every day. If you need to talk to a new prospect, if you need to share something with your team, if you need to make sure that you are getting people the information they need, whatever it is, if you need to work on your own skills as a leader, if you need to have more classes, whatever it is that you need to do, decide very specifically what it is that you're going to do and start doing it right now and do it every day. And after 21 days to 30 days, it's going to get so easy. It will be normal. It'll feel natural. You don't really have to think about it very much because you're used to it. Then over the next month plus, what's going to happen is it's going to be creating automation so that it gets to the point where you don't even have to think about it. So for example, I'm trying to learn Chinese and I'm getting better at it. But I committed that I'm going to do an hour of Chinese every day. And I am crazy achiever, so my schedule's already very full. So to fit in an hour, I kind of didn't know how that was going to work. In fact, I started out as a half hour. And I started doing it, and I decided I'm not missing a day, ever. And at the beginning, guess what? I didn't set specific time, and I travel a lot, so sometimes my schedule is sporadic, so that was a little bit hard. So I didn't take the responsibility to make sure that I planned it out well, but I was committed. I was not going to miss a day. So what happened was there were times when I would do it in the morning when I'm getting ready, or there are times it would be 1 o'clock in the morning, like it'd be late at night, and I was exhausted, and I was, had been busy all day or traveling, and I thought, oh no, I still need to do my Chinese, but I would not go to bed until that Chinese was done. And guess what happened? I had to sacrifice a lot of nights because I didn't do my Chinese earlier. But after a few weeks of that, guess what happened? I didn't do it at night every time. Sometimes I did it early in the morning. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. It would get to be nighttime, and I think, oh, good. I already did my Chinese. I'm good. But it became fewer and fewer times that I did it at night. And guess what? It slowly changed because I got sick of doing it at night. I didn't want to do it late at night. So what would happen is it started to transition. And very rarely did I do it at night. And now, first thing when I wake up in the morning, I do the Miracle Morning, which is the book by Hal Elrod. It has changed my life. And I'll tell you what, one of the very first things I do is my hour of Chinese. I do it while I'm exercising. I do it, so I have some really awesome audio training program, but it is powerful. And guess what? Now, it used to feel like an hour. Oh my goodness, that takes so much time. Now it doesn't even feel like anything. I have a routine and I just automatically do it. I do an hour of Chinese without ever missing. I haven't missed a day in probably a year and a half. I haven't missed a single day. And for me, you might be thinking, well, yeah, that's you. You're successful. You've done this stuff. I'm telling you, for me, that's a really big deal because I can be pretty disciplined and I can decide what I want to do. But I'm also very good at stepping back and going, it's okay for me to take a break. I can take a break. But for this specific thing, I wanted to do every single day. I wanted my mind doing that every day. So it's absolutely a habit. It's become automatic. I seriously almost don't have to think about it. And whenever even if I have to do it in little spurts in between certain things, it's almost always done before noon, even when I'm very busy and have a lot going on. So think about that now. I'm going to leave you with 3 things that are the most powerful things you can do in your first 30 days. So if you're looking for habits that will change your life, this is the number one thing you can do. If you only pick one, do this one. At night and in the morning, I want you to take 10 minutes. 10 minutes before you do anything else. Take 10 minutes in the morning, and I want you to write down 3 things that are the most important for you to do that day. The 3 things that if you did them or if you didn't do them, it would have the most effect on your business. So I want you to write down those 3 things. Now, I learned this from the book, Eat That Frog. It was awesome. But I started doing that, and every morning I would go over the 3 things, and that would ensure that those are the first things I'm working on in the day. And then when I'm leaving work at night, right before I leave, I go over the 3 things that I'm going to do tomorrow, so that I'm not stressing through the evening and wondering, oh yeah, I've got to get this done. Everything's written. Every time I think of something, I write it down. I go through the list. At the end of the day before I leave, I go, okay, those are the 3 most important for tomorrow. So that all night, I don't worry about it. First thing in the morning, instead of going on my jog or doing my exercise or doing my meditation time or my prayer time or whatever, my stuff that I do in the morning, I'm not thinking, I've got a lot to do today. Because I went over it for 10 minutes. I'm like, okay, I'm doing this, this. Okay, good. When I get to work or whatever, that's what I'm going to do. But then I started noticing, so that was awesome. It worked great and it changed my life. I was seriously getting, I'm not exaggerating when I say several times more done in the same amount of time. I just couldn't believe it. But then I started realizing, I'm doing this and focusing on the things that are important for work. But I see a discrepancy between my top priority, which is my family. And so I want to do this for my family. So now I call it my 3 and 3. So I do 3 in those 10 minutes. I can still do it in 10 minutes. In those 10 minutes, I do the 3 things that are most important for me to do or not do. Like if I don't do it or if I do it, it will make the most difference for my business. And the 3 things that day that will matter the most for my family. If I do it or if I don't do it, it will make the most difference with my family and my relationships with my family. That for me helps me feel way more balanced, because I was on fire about stuff I'm doing at work, super excited about the things I'm bringing to you, trying to figure out how to add more value. So 3 and 3. And if you only want to do the initial 3, great, do that. But I call it 3 and 3. The second most important thing that you can do every day is to look at those 3 things and write out the specifics. So for example, if I need to make a decision about the partnership with the people I'm meeting with that day, maybe I need to have a little, maybe I need to review it before I meet with them, or maybe I need, so I write out the points. If the next, one of the 3 most important things that I need to do that day is to film a video for this content that I'm creating, then I better make sure I have the bullet points written out for that video so I'm ready to go. So you kind of write out in detail what needs to happen, like what the bullet points are for each of those tasks. And I do that, again, that's part of the 10 minutes morning and night. And then the third most important thing that you can do is kind of look at your calendar each day and make sure you leave time for emergencies. So in that little bit of time, honestly, in the 10 minutes, I can look at it, because I already have my list. As I think of things throughout the day, I'm writing on my list. Then what happens is I write it down, and I've got my whole list. At the end of the day, 10 minutes before I leave work, I'm looking at that list. I go, okay, these are the 3 things. And the next morning in my 10 minutes, I'm looking at those 3 things, and I'm writing out any bullet points that I can think of. Okay, I need to do this, this, this for that thing. So for example, for family, it might be, you know what? Today is Maurice's due date for her baby, and she is not having the baby yet, and that is going to be a bummer. So I am going to call her, and that's one of the most important things I can do today. So look at your life, look at those 3 tips that I've given you, and get excited about creating these habits. Realize that the first 3 weeks are hard. Yes, they're hard. If they were easy, if they were easy, everybody would do it. Everybody would be successful. It'd be no big deal. If you want to be in the top 5% and you wonder why you're not successful and you don't have what you're wanting, this is why. You don't do this. So you pick one thing, start it today, something that's going to make a difference in your business, and do it for 30 days, and do not break your promise to yourself. All right, you guys have a great day, and I will talk to you next time.